your people.
Find your people.
Hey, come on. It's funny. I like the. Anyway. Friendship is probably, this is about friendship. It's probably one of the most important decisions you can make as a young person, and it's probably like really the only decision you can make. You might have a bedtime, you might not, you probably do. Right? You probably don't get to choose where you go to school. You might decide where you play sports or how you play sports, but if we're being honest, you don't have that many decisions to make. And I would argue that next to following Jesus and everything that entails, your next biggest decision you have to make is who your friends are. Someone say friends. Oh. It's a big deal enough that I want to dedicate another series to it. It won't be 8 weeks like the last one, but it'll be good. And I believe so passionately about friends because I believe that friends and the community that you surround yourself with is not only so good for you, but it's very clear in Scripture that we are much more stronger. Yes. Is that proper English? I don't think it is. We are stronger together as believers. We are stronger together as believers. And what do I mean by that? I mean there's a great commission to reach people that are far from God. That's one of the things that Jesus gave us to do, to make disciples of all nations. Okay, that's what He told us to do. And if we do that alone, we'll probably be weird and fail. But if we do it together, man, the power and just the ability that we have just exponentially grows, and it is incredibly important who your friends is, not even just for you, but for people around you, for people who are following Jesus and who are not. And it's really important. So I want to bring some statistics up for you. Okay, so the Bible was written thousands of years ago, okay? But this guy named, he's the U.S. Surgeon General. His name is Dr. Vivek, I think Murthy, M-U-R-T-H-Y. Okay, he's a big deal. He's probably like one of the biggest doctors in the U.S., okay? He's a Surgeon General. He found that lacking social connection, listen to this, lacking social connection will shorten, some say shorten, your lifespan the same amount as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I want to repeat that. This is a doctor. This wasn't a pastor. He's a doctor. I don't know what his faith is like. Okay, U.S. Surgeon General. He found that lacking social connection will shorten your lifespan the same amount as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Without strong relationships, our risk for heart disease increases 29%. Our chances of stroke increases 32%, and it more than doubles our chances to suffer from depression, some say depression, and anxiety. Social connection. Okay, I don't know if you know about cigarettes, but they're very bad for you, okay? They're not good. They're directly correlated to lung cancer and heart disease, and they have claimed millions of lives since their inception. And this U.S. Surgeon General found that lacking social connection is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day, increases heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%. And this is the one that I really think applies to you, because if we're being honest, as a teenager, you're probably not worrying about like having a stroke. Probably not. I know your class is pretty hard, but probably not. But this last one really stuck out at me. Lacking social connection, keyword is meaningful social connection, doubles your chances of suffering from depression and anxiety. We have an anxiety epidemic. We have a loneliness epidemic. And in Genesis chapter 2, right from the beginning, God said, it is not good for man to be alone. It's interesting that this Dr. Vivek guy, he could have just read the Bible and figured out all of that stuff. God said this a long time ago. It's not good for us to be alone. That's why He created not just one person. It's not good for people to be alone. And one of our nation's top doctor, one of his priorities is helping people build social connections. And if God's word says something, and now culture is catching up to it, it must be pretty important. And one thing that I've found in my life, and you can write this down if you're taking notes, okay, is your friendships have the power to make or break your future. And I'm not just talking about physically. Obviously, you'll be a lot more healthy if you have friends, according to Dr. Vivek Murthy. But spiritually as well, emotionally as well, that your friends have the power to make or break your future. The right friends will make you and your future better. And you'll do the same for them. But the wrong friends will break you down and take you in a direction you don't want to go. Sadly, many of us settle for bad friends because we would rather move in the wrong direction with other people than go in the right direction alone. I'm coming to your house today. Someone say I'm ready. Ready. So when I was in middle school and high school, I moved schools 3 times. So I was the new kid a few times, and it's never fun to be the new kid. I kind of got used to it, but I never liked that. And I went from a private school in Montgomery County to a private school in Frederick County, and then I went to public school. And in public school, I remember just like the people there were a lot scarier than they were in private school. I couldn't believe like just what was allowed in classrooms. Like I just remember being afraid, and I remember just anyone who wanted to be my friend, I would let them be my friend. Because I was so afraid of being alone. I would just if you want to be my friend, I'll be friends with you. And that led me to a place of having so many friends, air quotes, that I didn't really know who my friends were. That my lowest standard was anything. I don't care what you did or who you are, I just didn't want to be alone. And I think that's a very relatable feeling for us as middle school and high school students. It's so scary, the social pressures of middle school and high school. It really is. And it's even scarier if you think that the people around you could team up on you and ruin your life, right? Or they could make fun of you, or you could get bullied, and we can get into this fight or flight decision. What happened to me was I found that the friends that I thought were my friends ended up not really being my friends. That we just liked each other because we did things that were similar. We played sports, or we lifted weights, or we just did whatever. But it was those people that I just, whoever will be my friend, yeah, I'll be friends with you. Then I ended up having a few bad friends, and they weren't really my friends. And I ended up alone and hurt and afraid. And when I was 18, I found Jesus, and I started following Jesus, and I just started going to church. I really didn't care if I was alone or with people, and Jesus kind of gave that boldness in me, and I found friends in church. I found my wife in church. I found every single meaningful relationship I have with church, and it wasn't just people that we did similar things together. It's not just people that I like football and sports. It wasn't even just people that like sports. It was people that agreed that you're following Jesus and I'm following Jesus. And those have been the most impactful friends I've ever had. I've had decade-long plus friendships. And that's something that I never had because of all of my moves. I can honestly say that if I would have not decided to follow Jesus, if I would not get plugged into church and met a handful of the closest friends I have today, that my life would be tremendously different. Tremendously. I am not a gambling man. I don't do that. But if I could go back and place money on it, I don't do this, but okay. I just want to emphasize what I think, okay? I'm not saying to gamble, okay? I just want to, okay? Don't have your parents email me, okay? Okay. If I was to place money on whether I would have made it being a Christian when I was 18, if I didn't find a friend or two to walk with me, I guarantee you I would not have made it. Because your friends have the power to make or break your future. And Jesus, shout out Jesus, he's the GOAT. He was a pretty smart guy. He was God, so he kind of, it's kind of like what he did. And when he died and rose again, he left behind a solution to solve our loneliness, to solve our friendship problems. And I want to read it in Acts 1:12, okay? There's a model that he left behind. All right, you guys ready? Someone say I'm ready. Okay, then the apostles returned to Jerusalem from the hill called the Mount of Olives, a Sabbath day's walk from the city. When they arrived, they went upstairs to the room where they were staying. Those present were, these are like, so Jesus is the goat, but these people would be goated, okay? Peter, John, James, Andrew, Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew, Matthew, James, son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas, son of James. Not the bad Judas. This is a different Judas. Okay. They all joined. When I meant by bad Judas, there's a Judas that betrayed Jesus. Okay, that wasn't him. Okay, let's keep going. They all joined together constantly. Someone say constantly. In prayer, along with the women and Mary, the mother of Jesus. So Jesus' mother pulled up, and his brothers. In those days, Peter stood up among the believers, a group numbering about 120. So what I just read was a group of people. There was like some goated people in there, right? Some of like the people that were, But this is after Jesus had died and went to heaven. Jesus isn't on the earth anymore. And when Jesus' time on earth was complete, the thing he left behind was a family committed to following him and changing the world. And that's exactly what happened. God used these people, this group of 120 people. This is where the church started. This group of 120 people God used to flip the world upside down by continuing the work Jesus had started. But before they became a family that changed the world, they started as a group of friends following Jesus. That's why we're kicking off this series right before school. Spoiler alert, it's coming. I'm sorry. But what I would hate for you is to, I look back on a lot of my middle school and high school, and I don't have a lot of friends from that time. And, I'm not crying about it. It's okay. My life's okay. I enjoy my life. I enjoy my friends. But it's special when you live a long time with somebody. And I pray that in this group here, which we might have about 100 in here tonight, that we would move past surface level and superficial relationships. What I mean is surface level relationships that we settle for and actually develop friendships that will change us and impact the world, influence the world. Okay, so this week we're going to learn from Jesus how to make the right friends, and then in the weeks to come we're going to learn how to strengthen our friendships and influence the world. There's just a little tidbit. Okay, you guys ready? Yep. Just this is the third time I'm saying it. Your friendships have the power to make or break your future. All right, so let's look at it. How did Jesus make friends? Okay, I'm actually going to talk to you how to make friends, because sometimes as Christians we're a little weird. Okay, so I want to help us out. It's okay. I'm right there with you. Okay, it's not. It's okay. Someone say it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey. It's okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, the next day, Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Okay, first lesson from Jesus. Okay? When trying to make friends, trying to find friends, because you don't just want any friends, you want the right friends. Okay, and the right friends, the right relationships, high-valued friends will take some effort. Someone say effort. Effort. Someone say effort on the lady side. Effort. Okay, come on. I'm expecting the guys, you really picked it up the last couple weeks. I'm proud of you guys. Okay. We seek, when we're making friends, we seek them out. We do not freak them out. Jesus didn't go up to Philip and was like, "Hey, Philip, why don't you come follow me? I'm the Savior of the world, and I'm actually going to die a very painful, humiliating death on a cross. I'm going to be crucified, and then I'm going to be resurrected. And then after I'm resurrected, you're going to get together with a handful of people, and you're going to launch something really impactful for the world, and then you're eventually going to be killed for me. You're actually going to give your life for the cause, and you follow me." Right? That would have, I don't know if that would have been the best. But Jesus said, "Follow me. Follow me. Hey, let's build a relationship. Let's start slow. Let's go there. I want to be part of your team." And sometimes as Christians, we sometimes we over spiritualize things, and And there's nothing wrong with being spiritual. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But what I want to teach us is just practical ways of talking to people and building relationship. We seek friends out, but we don't want to freak them out. Someone say, don't do that. Okay, here we go. I wrote this down. So if you want to make great friends, which you do, I know you do because I see it in your eyes, then you must go to the places that the people you want to be friends with go. And when you're around them, I'm getting really practical, introduce yourself to them. So a hi will work. Okay, don't look at your phone when you're talking to them, look at them in the face, okay? And just start by getting to know them. Don't make it weird, don't try to jump, hey, you want to be BFFs? That's like cute when 6-year-olds do it. Just take it slow and if you see someone that you admire about their faith and you want to be friends with them, start being around them more. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with seeing someone and saying, man, I want to be friends with that person. I admire their faith. I think they're a cool person. Even I like how they dress. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, but just make sure you're pursuing them, not just because of how they dress, but you're pursuing them based on their character and the quality of who they are. And when you find someone, you're like, man, I would really like to be friends with that person. Do that. Start slow. Introduce yourself. Okay. Point number 2 is take it slow and let it grow. Take it slow and let it grow. Relationships take time to grow. Trust takes time to develop. Jesus spent 3 years investing in his disciples. Yes, they were his followers, but they also were his friends. And he took 3 years. And slowly but surely, little by little, his friendships with them deepened into something truly special. So here's a really important question for you. Who are your friends? Like seriously, like who are your friends? And if the answer is, I don't have any friends, that's a better place to start than I have the wrong friends. I have friends that are pulling me in the wrong direction. Okay? So often, and believe me, I empathize with you. I get it. I was like that. So often, it's wrong, but I was like that. I had to learn the hard way, and I hope you don't have to learn the hard way. There are friends that will pull you in the wrong direction. It's not the way you want to go. It's better to go alone in the right direction than the wrong direction with people, okay? So let me ask you, who are your friends? Are they helping to make you and your future better? Okay, are they adding value to your life? There's nothing wrong with asking that question. Are they good for you, okay? Or are they breaking you and your future down? It's just a saying. We become like the people we spend time with. Don't just wait till you're married and you're living life and you moved out of your parents' house. Then you do something exactly like your parents. And you're like, how on earth did that happen? Did that happen to you yet? I heard someone snicker. Did that happen to you? I do stuff like my dad all the time. And for the longest time, I thought I'd never be like my dad. And then I'll look in the mirror, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to look like him. What's happening? But the reason I'm like him is because we spend a lot of time together. And it's not even like, you don't even have to go that deep. You can probably see right now, like, you start using some slang word, and then you start using it, and it catches on, and before you know it, you see other people that have been around you saying it, and before you know it, you're like, oh, wow. Or the opposite is true. Like, you'll pick up something from someone around that you're saying, and you're like, why did I say that? Oh, I'm around this person a lot. And it's just the truth that we are, there's a quote that you are the sum of your 5 closest friends. Okay, the people that you are around are the people that you are like. Our friends have a bigger influence on us than most of us would ever admit. For you, if you want to make great friends, you've got to take it slow and let it grow. Rome wasn't built in a day. An acorn planted today does not turn into an oak tree. Okay, anything that it lasts a long time takes a while to build. The cheapest things that you get from Temu, they make in like 2 days. Okay, maybe 2 seconds. Okay, but things that last take a long time to build. Okay, in Luke 6, we get another little nugget. Okay, when morning came, I'm reading from Luke 6. When morning came, he called his disciples to him and chose 12 of them, who he also designated as apostles. Simon, who was named Peter, his brother Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Simon, who was called the Zealot, Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot, He became a traitor. That was the bad Judas. But he chose people that were different than him. He chose people from all different walks of life. And what you can fall into the trap of is that I have to be friends with people that are like me. I have to be friends with people that are also playing soccer. I have to be friends with people that are also doing this and doing that. No, the only prerequisite of these people, they came fishermen, tax collectors, all different type of people. The only prerequisite to being friends, to choosing to do life together was, are we following Jesus? And let me tell you this, I have friends that I would never be friends with if we didn't follow Jesus. Like, we have nothing in common. Me and Dylan are kind of like that. Like Dylan Gossman, he was young adults. Like, we don't have a lot in common. He was homeschooled, I was public school, I played sports, he did not. He got married, he found his wife when he was 16, I found mine when I was 24. Like, we are very different people, but we're friends. Because we both are following Jesus, and if we both didn't follow Jesus, I'm a pastor. I know if I wasn't following Jesus, I wouldn't be a pastor, but I'd probably do something in communication. And he does HVAC. Right? So it's completely different, but we found a very good friendship. That's one of many that I have, because we're both following Jesus. And I can list off a dozen people like that. That if I didn't have the main purpose of my friendships being to follow Jesus, I would have missed out on some super important friendships. My third point for today is look for common purposes over common interests. What's your purpose? Man, my purpose, Dylan's purpose, a lot of my friends' purpose, man, we're trying to build a church. Man, we're trying to preach the gospel. We're trying to further God's kingdom, and our purposes align. Our values align. What's important to us align. And they might like chocolate ice cream. I might like vanilla. I watch football. I think Dylan watches hockey. Okay, but like hockey's cool, but it's no football. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's the purpose. And I can't even illustrate, I can't even tell you how important it is to find people of similar purpose. Okay. I beat that one. Hold on, I'm going to move quickly. Okay, point 4. Care more, this is a word for some of y'all, okay? Care more about being interested than being interesting. Care more about being interested more than being interesting. Okay, I got a verse from you. This is one of the other goats. His name is Paul. Okay. Don't be selfish. It's coming for your neck. Don't try to impress others. And all of you with your TikToks, your selfie TikToks, he just came for you. I'm teasing. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourself. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Man, if you want to annoy people, only talk about yourself. And don't ask them about themselves. Okay, if you want to go even higher, okay, one up their stories. Okay, if you want to be alone with cats, just every time someone tells a story, make up a story that's better than theirs. Okay. There's nothing wrong with cats. I'm not trying to attack people. Okay, it's fine if you have cats. It's not a big deal. I like both cats and dogs. Okay, I don't want to offend people. But what practical information Paul's giving to us? Don't be selfish. Okay, hey, you might have a hard time making friends because you're selfish, because you're self-centered. Don't try to impress others. Okay, so if you are in school and you want to be in the quote-unquote popular crowd, and you think, what can I do to be accepted by this group of people? Okay, here we go. There's a verse right for that. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't try to impress others. Okay? It's not what we're supposed to do. You can try to impress God. That's a great idea. Don't try to impress others. Just be humble. Think of others better than yourself. Okay, man, if I'm thinking, how can I impress others? You know, all I'm thinking about is me. Me. Man, let me tell you what. The most draining people that you'll ever come across is people that are self-centered, they're selfish, and they only talk about themselves. Okay? And I'm being a little harsh in here. A lot of these behaviors are from a deeper insecurity, okay? You gotta let Jesus work through that in your heart. Okay? I want you to make friends. I want you to have meaningful friends in here. That's why I'm taking so much time to speak on this, because it's so important that you make this decision. And for some of you, I know you love Jesus. I know you're passionate about loving Jesus. But you might be having trouble making friends because you care more about how you're perceived more than how much you love other people. Okay? Not only do we want our friends to add value to our lives, but we want to be able to add value to other people's lives. All right, number 5 is stick it out, don't cut them out. Okay, this one is coming from my neck. I have the habit of, I've always done this, that if I feel like if someone hurts me, then I just want to get rid of them. And it actually, even this week, I've had to have God soften my heart. There's been people that I thought were my friends, and I don't know, we just got separated, and I don't know, time kind of heals things. Okay, this isn't a therapy section. Okay, let's get it together. Okay. But I felt like God was saying to me that we need to stick it out. We don't cut them out. Look what John says in 15:13. He says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend." Man, being a good friend means sacrificing. Okay? Let me tell you this. If you have friends in your life that are not perfect, newsflash, people aren't perfect. There will be times where people hurt you. Now, there's a tension here, okay? There's a tension here. You don't deal with abuse. You don't deal with bullying, okay? But we don't want to be so quick to cut people out of our life and use that as an excuse to be alone. Walls, we can put up walls, and I'm going to talk more about this in weeks to come. We think walls protect us, but they actually just isolate us. And what I don't want is for us to be a group of people that the moment a friendship has any sort of rub or disagreement or misunderstanding, which is going to happen, that we just move on to the next person. No, it says greater love has no one than this, than one that lays down his life for their friends. What does that mean? You should be sacrificing in your relationships with your friends, that you stick through it, through thick and through thin, okay? I'll just read what I wrote. This is probably the most difficult thing for us to do, and perhaps one of the most powerful examples Jesus gave, because at the end of his life, after investing 3 years in his disciples, every single one of them turned their back on him. John was at the foot of the cross, but Judas literally betrayed him. Peter denied him, and the rest abandoned him. And how did Jesus respond? He stuck it out. He didn't cut them out. Okay? And if Jesus did that, and they literally I'm not going through what Jesus went through on the cross. He stuck it out. He didn't cut them out. He knew they were going to let him down, but he still chose to love them, to wash their feet. That was before he died on the cross. He washed their feet, to call them his friends, and to die on the cross for their sins. Okay, so review. Okay, if you're zoning out, say I'm back.
I'm back.
Okay, so if you want to make great friends, then do what Jesus did. Seek them out, don't freak them out. Take it slow and let it grow. Don't go 0 to 100, okay? Take it slow. Look for common purposes over common interests. Care more about, if you missed all the notes, you just woke up from a nap, I'm giving you notes, write these down. Look for common purposes over common interests. Care more about being interested than being interesting. And when things get hard, stick it out. Don't cut them out. Because, man, the right friends can have the power to make your future. And the wrong friends have the power to break your future. Okay, application. Someone say application.
Application.
Okay, so it's probable that you could make some friends in here tonight. Okay, so here's what I want our goal to be. I want you to make your goal to be at youth every week, at least for this series. I mean, really for the rest of your life, but let's just say for this series, okay? And go all in your small group. Okay, what I don't want to happen is our small groups to be weird and awkward and you don't say anything, okay? I know there's a dynamic there, but again, walls isolate more than they protect, Okay, so take the walls down and go all in. Be vulnerable and willing to take the risk to communicate in your small groups. Okay. In conclusion, all right, those 120 people flipped the world upside down. Our biggest night in youth, like a couple months ago, was 150. I don't know how many here tonight. Okay, but think about that. 120 people turned the world upside down. We had 150 people 2 months ago. Think about what we did, what we could do if we got serious about this Jesus thing, if we stopped isolating ourselves and thought, you know what, I'm a Christian, you're a Christian, we have similar purposes, I'm going to be more interested in you than I'm interested in myself, and we're going to do this thing for real. We're going to grow together. We're going to do Bible studies together. We're going to read books together. We're going to evangelize together. Man, could you imagine how we could change the scope of Frederick County? We're probably the biggest youth ministry in Frederick County, and I don't mean to say that to brag. I'm saying that to say, man, we have an opportunity. Man, there are people that need Jesus. What I don't want to happen is for us just to be a group of people that isolate ourselves in a little group. No, man, our friendships are important because of the purpose, the alignment of purpose. But you know what that purpose is? Some of you, you've been in here a lot of years. You need to know this. Your purpose is to advance the gospel, to go into all nations. That means Frederick County. And be an example. Tell people the gospel. Bring them to church. Do something. Move the ball forward. Man, if Jesus changed the world, I'm not saying that, you're the disciples and I'm Jesus or we're Jesus. But what I am saying is, man, we have the numbers. Man, we could do something. We could do something big in Frederick County, but we have to take this thing seriously. Someone say seriously. Seriously. There are people that need Jesus. There's people that you will reach that I'll never meet. That Miss Tracy and Burrow will never meet. That your small group leader will never meet. That God might have brought them into your life for the reason so you can show them and tell them about Jesus. Okay, friendship is very important. Is very important, but one of the reasons I believe that we are called to choose high-value Christian friends is, and the reason it's laid out in Scripture that way. After Jesus died, they all got together, and what did they do? This says they were constantly praying with each other. Those people changed the world. They changed the world, and I just imagine, man, if we took that seriously, man, if we got serious about our faith, we answered the call that God has over each and every one of your lives, and we could do something in Frederick County. Maybe we could do it. We could do something in the schools. We could do something that's big, that could advance the gospel, but it takes having the strength of friends. Someone say friends. Let's go ahead and pray.